You ever heard this term? Yeah, Jesus is coming back soon, or we're in the last days, or we're in the time of the end. We hear this term thrown around loosely, I personally believe, because there's crazy things going on around in this world. Things that we can't comprehend, things that just don't make any sense. So the disciples had the same issue, and they approach Jesus and they say, "Master, when will be the sign of your coming?" And he answers it with many different signs. Wars, rumors of wars, nation against nation, all kinds of things, but there's something that sticks out that could be relevant to you and I to understand that we're in the last days, or the short time when Jesus is going to come back. It's in Matthew 24, 11 through 12, and it says this: "Then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. And because a lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold." So there's a couple key words here that Jesus uses. He says a phrase that we hear a lot, false prophets. He says many a few times to emphasize the fact that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to fall into a deception as a result of false prophets. So they're going to be teaching things that are going to deceive people to the point where their hearts will start to grow cold over time. Let's look at the word false to understand what a false prophet is. Now I must say at first, a prophet is anybody who speaks in the place of God or says they represent God. It could be a leader, a politician, a pastor. It could be a fellow Christian or neighbor. Anybody who says, "I speak for God," is what Jesus is talking about here. But then he says, they're a false prophet, or they don't represent me in any way, shape, or form. A few words for false are this: incorrect, untrue, faulty, flawed, distorted, untruthful, unreal, counterfeit, deceptive, even invented. So it's not necessarily when we think of a prophet, we think of somebody in a cloak that's saying, "Thus saith the Lord," and gives something about the future. That's not what Jesus is saying here. He's saying anybody who stands in a place where they speak for me, they will mislead, they will deceive, they will misconstrue facts all day long, and it will cause people to be deceived. And when they get deceived, their heart starts to wane towards the things of God. Notice it says their hearts grow cold. When you grow something, think of if you're going to plant something. You put a seed in the ground and it has to grow over time, and you have to feed that seed. You got to water it. You got to get sunlight for it. So this is not an instantaneous thing. It's over time. So that is one of the signs. There'll be many people speaking for God, leading people away from the faith, and their hearts will start to grow cold towards the things of God. So let's talk about the word deceive for a minute. Deceive literally means to wander off course. To wander off course means you're at one time on the right path. You're going on a straight and narrow road or on a path, and you had the directions properly, and you started to wander off course. And this word literally means that a person wanders off course and they're on a treacherous path, and at the end of that path is destruction. They'll be destroyed if they keep walking on that path. Picture somebody that's in a boat and they're on water, on a river, and the stream looks nice and calm. Everything looks good, but they don't see ahead that there's a huge waterfall, and they're about to get caught up in the current if they stray off course. That's what deception means. You once were on course, you decided to take a wrong turn, and you don't even know that your heart is growing cold to the things of God or to truth, and you're wandering off course, and there's a waterfall coming up, and you're about to go over the edge, and it's going to destroy you. That's what deception does. It doesn't come out and say, "Hello, I'm trying to deceive you." It slowly, methodically gets you to go off course. Jesus said that lawlessness would abound. So we got a false prophet, or people that speak in the place of God that are speaking untruth, could be watered down. They're preaching a partial gospel. They're just giving you a totally different faith that points away from Jesus. Many different scenarios, but it's causing you to be deceived. And it says, and because of this, lawlessness will abound. Now, by definition, lawlessness means somebody that doesn't have a fixed moral standard. There's no absolute truth with them. And if you don't have an absolute truth, what do you base your morals on if there's no absolute truth? So your truth can change with the season or change on feelings or emotions. This is what's happening, Jesus says, in the last days, that there will be people that will grow cold towards God. They'll make their own truth or their own moral obligations. They'll be their own standard. God won't be their standard. Themselves, they'll make themselves God and have their own standards. So they'll say, hey, I don't think it's wrong to do this, or I don't think it's wrong to do that. But it's a slow progression that happens. Does this sound familiar? You're on a different path than you used to be. Are there things in your life that at one time were sacred to you? That you said, this is what I believe. It could be, I believe in staying pure before I get married. Maybe it's that. Maybe, I just have this firm moral obligation, and I believe God's word when He says it's best for you to wait till you get married. Have you changed your stance on that now? Now do you make exceptions for it? Oh, well, if, we love each other, God will understand. You're wandering off the path and you're on a treacherous route. If that's you, stay tuned for more from Engage Ministries. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot from it. Please click the link and subscribe to us, and please share the video. If you're from the Northwest Indiana area and you're interested in being a part of our Engage Bible study, email us at engagechurchnwi@gmail.com. Look forward to hearing from you.